So in the past 3 days, I've just grown to 1,700 subs from 600 in just a few days, yeah. And this video that I posted recently, which a lot of you will have come from, is now on 30k views, yeah. And for the past year, I've been posting every day pretty much, yeah. 20, 30, 40, 50 minute long videos, yeah. And I've been getting maybe 50 views, yeah. Some of them are on like 1,000, some of them are on like 27, barely any, yeah. But the reason why I'm saying this is because that is entrepreneurship, yeah. So it's work, 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 no result, 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 work, 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 some result, yeah. And that is the mindset you've got to have in entrepreneurship, yeah. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand, and this is the mindset that I'm using going into my next business again. This is the mindset I had for the first time. This is the same process that I went through when I first started my first business, yeah, and I went from selling on market stalls to never having to have a job from 17 to 25 and making a lot of money in the process, yeah. So this is how I think as an entrepreneur. This is a winning formula that I found, and this video is how I'm starting a business from zero again. Now, I'm not telling you what you should do, yeah? I'm not telling you the best method that you can possibly do, yeah? But listen, I'm not from a wealthy background. I'm not from a flipping private school, private education. I didn't grow up around wealthy people. This is a system that I had to figure out and work out for myself. And this is what I'm sharing with you. And this is what I'm doing right now to start another business. So, first thing I want to start with is mindset and expectations. The reason why I've used that example, because you have to get the expectations right, yeah? This game that we're getting into, if you're starting a business going into entrepreneurship, it's a long fucking game, yeah? You don't know when the results are going to come. So you've got to still, for example, the YouTube, right? You've got to post every day not knowing if that's going to get views. And that's not the hard thing, right? Not getting the results. The hard thing is when you're doing something every day and you don't know if you're doing it wrong, yeah? You don't know how to learn how to do it better. And this is the turmoil you've got in your mind. You don't know if you're not progressing because you're doing it wrong, or if you're not progressing because it takes time, yeah? And they're both kind of true. And this is the turmoil you've got to go through. And it's going to happen for a long time. But then all of a sudden, you're going to get some result out of somewhere. And that result is where you get the energy. But again, a year and a half, right, I've been going at that. And that's how you've got to be treating this game, and that's how I'm treating this new business, and that is the new business, right? So you've got to get your mindset and expectations right. And as you'll see in the last video, the biggest issue that I've had in my life ever, yeah, is recently when my mindset went wrecked, yeah? When I started getting negative, I started not believing in myself, yeah? And it sounds fucking cringy, but this is true, yeah? I started being negative to be around. I started inviting negativity in my life because I developed a negative mindset. I developed a victim mindset. If you have a victim mindset and you're negative to be around you, I don't give a fuck what you're going to do. You're not going to make a successful business. You're not going to deal with people in the right way. You're not going to have the energy to do stuff, and you're not going to believe that you can do it. So the first step you must take is fix your mindset. Now, I'm not trying to get all woo, 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 woo on you, right? But you have to fix your mindset. If you're not thinking right, if you're acting negative, if you're not thinking about problems properly, you are going to be stuck in a rut. Yeah, so the first thing, you've got to fix your mindset. Now, if you're walking around and you're thinking everybody's got a bad attitude, you're the one with the bad attitude, yeah? And listen, the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is what I've done personally recently, yeah? So I'm walking around thinking, why is everyone, why is no one contacting me? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I got negative and I started talking about my problems all the time. All I had to talk about were my own problems. Well, nobody wants to listen to that. Everyone's got their own shit going on, yeah? So the first thing you've got to do is fix your mindset and fix your expectations. You will not get anywhere without this, yeah? And another way I was able to do this right here is the most powerful and valuable tool that I've ever used in my entire life. I made my first £1 million in sales with this, yeah? From zero, from literally working on the markets, collecting scrap metal, yeah? I've got out some very bad mental ruts with this. I've got myself in some very good physical shape with this. I've made real money from this. I've fucking sorted my life out big time with this, and this is what I'm using again. This is a most essential notepad, right? And this is just not just any notepad. This is a legend planner. Listen, anyone who knows me personally, anyone around me, I force you to get one of these, yeah? It's basically a daily planner with your habits, goals, habit tracker, work to-do list, personal to-do list, and it blocks out every single half an hour of the day. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because this is going to directly affect your mindset and your self-esteem, yeah? Self-esteem is a massive part of how successful you're going to be, and it takes time to build. Now, you're going to build self-esteem when you start making money, like really strong, right? But you've got to build some self-esteem before that. So the way I was able to build my self-esteem back up, and listen, now I've got it back, I feel like I'm back to normal. When I didn't have it, I felt like I wasn't even myself. And no matter how hard I tried, for months and months and months, working 7 days a week, I thought I just need to try harder. No, the problem is my mindset of self-esteem was wrong, yeah? And you get your self-esteem back by daily action. Because you need to build that relationship in your mind up with yourself, right? If you're the type of person who doesn't go to the gym when you say you're going to do it, doesn't stick on the diet, gets out of bed at a random time every day, well, your mind knows that you're not one to be trusted because you can't make yourself do the thing, right? Your self-talk is wrong. But if you're the type of person to go to the gym when you say you're going to fucking go, yeah? You eat that food when you say you're going to eat it, you put that work in when you say you're going to do it, you're going to be at that place when you say you're going to do it, yeah? Now, all of a sudden, your relationship with yourself and your confidence goes way up. But you do that by small amounts of daily action over time. And listen, I was in a worst state I've ever been in, the lowest self-esteem. And this affects everybody. I want you to listen very carefully, yeah? I'm 6'3", in shape, abs, kinda, yeah? Full beard, tall, had lots of friends, but I've got no reason to be having any self-esteem issues, yeah? But I did, it was so low. Now, the reason why is because I'd stopped using this. My daily habits slipped, yeah? So I got my daily habits back on track. Now, that starts with, right, well, I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock every day. I'm going to get into a consistent routine. I'm going to start reading every day. And look, it's hard at first, but I got a little morning routine going. I'd meditate, I'd read, stuff that I did before, and I'd reflect on the day before, right? I had to start reflecting, so I've got another notebook. And this depends how bad you are, right? If your life's fucked, you best start fucking testing stuff out, yeah? That's serious. You need to eat. If your life is fucked and you're in your 20s or you're a young guy, listen, the alarm bells should be fucking ringing. You need to get into control, yeah? This is what I had to do. I had to get back in control of my life. I had to snap out of this negative trance, this low vibrational state I was in, yeah? So this is what I started doing. I started recording every single day, yeah? And I'd put 3 wins, 3 improvements, a brief overview of the day, 5 things that I'm grateful for, and I'd rate the day out of 10, yeah? And the reason why I'm putting stuff that I'm grateful for is because I had to train my mind to stop thinking negative, yeah? I even used to write on my planner, I'm grateful for this pen. Because you can be grateful for a pen, yeah? You can be grateful for the little things, but you have to start training your mind to look for the positive things, not focus on the negative things. I was focusing on the situation I was in. I was focusing on the stuff that I couldn't do, and I wasn't focusing on the stuff that I have and the stuff that I can do. That is why I ended up in such a rut for so long, yeah? And now I'm not, because these are the steps that I did, yeah? These are the steps that I did. Now, the next thing that you've got to do, or the next thing that I did, right? I had to get out of this danger zone, yeah? Because when you're in the danger zone, i.e. bills due next month, running low on cash, you need to get a new car and you can't afford it, your fucking heating goes and you can't afford it. Them type of problems, you're not going to be building a successful business in the cold, yeah? You're not going to do it, right? So you have to put some groundwork in to get out of the danger zone, yeah? So when I got out of the danger zone, what I had to do was, I had to fix my mindset and start getting the ball moving again. And I had to actually do a minimum wage job, yeah? This is the first time I've ever had a job at 25. And the reason why I had to go get such a shit job is I've got no work experience. I've always been an entrepreneur, right? So I won't get in any sales jobs. But listen, I needed money now. So I had to do it. And the problem that you have is, if you're just parking yourself in a minimum wage job, if you're doing the bare minimum, 40 hours a week, that's not enough to pay your bills and get out of it. You need to be able to build a buffer period to either invest in a new business or have enough money to live off whilst you start a new business. So your focus then has to go on the danger zone. Now, what I started doing was, I started doing 70, 80 hours a week doing minimum wage. This isn't forever, but the reason is we're trying to get out of the danger zone and build a buffer period, right? We're trying to build a bit of a cushion up so we can breathe. So now you're not focusing on the heating going out. You're not focusing on you're 1 bill away from being fucked. You have to get out of the danger zone. This is exactly what I did. because then your options start opening up clearly in your mind, right? So this is what happened. Now I'm at the danger zone. My options have cleared up a little bit. I can start seeing it clearly again, yeah? Or a bit more clear. And my mindset and expectations are set up right. So I'm doing positive habits again. I'm acting more positively and I'm thinking less negatively, yeah? So now it comes to choosing a business model. So for me right now, it makes sense to go back into e-commerce. That is my business model. One thing that you want to do, if you've never had a business before, you want to stay in the same industry, yeah? Keep the same business model going, because if you fail, right? I mean, if you complete the business model and you make some money, you can move on to something else if you want, right? But in the beginning stages, do not be switching models, right? Because everything is hard. Everything is hard, but you have to stick at it till you make some results, yeah? So for me, what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for what problems that I can solve, okay? When you start looking for what problems you can solve, and then what people who have money, right? If you can solve problems with people who have money, aka business owners, right? You can make money there. Because a business owner, even a small business owner doing 20, 30k a month, you can find some revenue spill costing them 5k a month, and you can patch that up, right? And improve it, and then charge them 2k, right? 5k, whatever, right? So for me, the reason why I'm now going into helping e-commerce brands reduce the customer acquisition costs is because I can add value directly there, right? So I'll show you an example. This is a brand I've just worked on, one of my first clients, and the email marketing's gone up 100%, 105% in the first 30 days. I mean, this was £2,000 a month before I came on, and now it's doing 11,000. And this is still underperforming, right? This has still got a long way to go, but you've got to think the reason why I chose that is because I knew that, right, I can charge them X amount and then they're getting X amount of value. So what I'm charging them, their value needs to be much more than that in order for the deal to make sense, right? And all I need for this is to make a website. So that's exactly what I did. I made a website where you can book a call. That's the reason why I'm making these YouTube videos, because again, look, I'm starting from zero again. So I've got to find something that I can market for free. And I can market this for free because I can tap into my existing network, I can make YouTube videos, I can message people on Instagram, I can put it on my personal story, right? I know I can add value here because I've got experience in this and I've done the groundwork here. And it's free for me to do. That's the most important thing, because I'm starting at zero again. It's free for me to do. So I'm trying to find the highest leverage activity to do. Now, look, if I was not experienced in e-commerce and I was looking to do this, well, what I would do was I would spend more time in the places that I go to consistently. So let's say you go to the gym all the time, like I do, yeah? I tried to book on a gym appointment recently, and there were 3 gyms in my area. One of them I couldn't get onto. One of them I couldn't book on because the website didn't work. And the other one, they didn't have their address on there. So what that would tell me is they've got loads of customers wanting to come to the gym who physically can't book on, right? So there you've got a problem, okay? You've got a problem to solve there. So then what I would do is spend more time in those places. I'd speak to the owners, I'd ask them for the feedback, ask them what the problems are, and then I'd create a solution to the problem and charge them for it. That is how simple it is. Money is created when pain is alleviated, right? And look, if you have got low confidence issues, you're telling yourself you can't do it, and your habits are fucked, you're not going to be going and approaching business owners and being confident that you can make some results for them, right? So this is why you've got to fix this stuff first. This is why I started with this personally. And it took me a long time to realise that this was my problem, right? So you have to choose a business model, right? So for me, right now, I'm choosing e-commerce. I know e-commerce. I made a lot of money in e-commerce, and I know that I can provide value there. Now, the next thing I had to really focus on, and this is one thing that I always focused on when I was coming up for the first time, right? It's about your finances, and it's about your time, and about your knowledge, yeah? You've got to identify where you are on each of these. So me, when I was young, when I first started hustling, I had loads of time. Right? So what I did was I traded all my time for knowledge and finances, yeah? And I traded a lot of time for knowledge to get even more finances. So you can trade these off of each other, right? If you're rich, you can hire people, okay, to spend their time shipping orders, doing just time-intensive tasks. And you can hire people who know the position better than you. So in my e-commerce business, you could hire a marketer, you could hire an email marketer, right? Or you could hire someone doing what I'm doing right now. But when you identify where you are with these, that is where you're going to be able to make the best play, right? So for me right now, I'm in a position where I've got the knowledge, but I've got not that much time and I don't have the finances, yeah? So what I'm doing is I'm leveraging my knowledge, okay, to create more of this, okay? And I'm creating more of this by working night times. So listen, I work in a warehouse at night now, and I do that from 3:30 till 9:30 at night. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because until my business starts taking off full time, okay, I've only got 2 or 3 clients at the minute. Until my business starts taking off full time, I'm doing that at night time, so it doesn't disrupt. I'm still getting a full work day in the morning, right? I can still make my content, I can still work on my client results and get results like you've seen. And you've got to put yourself in the position to do this. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that you're not going to have much of a social life on a night, yeah? You're not going to be going out for some drinks with some girls you met, yeah? You're not going to be spending 3 hours in the gym, right? I still go to the gym, don't get me wrong. But look, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, but, like, are you trying to get fucking rich or not? This is not about what I want to do, what you want to do, yeah? This is about, does it need doing? This is the one thing different between winner and loser, yeah? Losers ask themselves, do I want to do it? Winners ask themselves, do I need to do it? When you ask yourself, do I need to do it? Yeah? Then the answer is yes or no, and it's very simple. If the answer is yes, then you just do it, yeah? So you have to get your relationship with what you need to do right. Because once you start thinking, well, if I need to do it, I'm doing it, right? I've got the self-confidence to do that. If I need to do it, I'm fucking doing it. That's where you're going to start winning. That's where you're going to start seeing some increments in your life. So that's the plan. That's the plan. That's the position that I'm in right now. And that's the plan. Look, I'm just trying to keep this raw and 100% legit real, yeah? This is not a good position to come out of. You know, that last video that I did, I revealed a lot there. That was a bit uncomfortable for me, I'm not going to lie. But you know what it is? I'm just going to keep it 100% real. I'm going to film my full come up on this. I'm going to do it again. And I'm just going to be real with the position that I'm currently at right now. Like, even if you know all this stuff, you can still face issues in your life. So it's not because you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Sometimes shit just happens, but this is the plan. I'm going to work the plan. I'm going to show you exactly how it is. I'm going to show you what failures I make on this series and on this channel. And yeah, I hope you join me for the journey. So yeah, all the best.